9:21 the time now. The billionaire businessman John Caudwell, who founded Phones for You Empire, has pledged more than £1 million to research Lyme disease after he and 3 of his children developed the illness.
He spoke to us earlier and said that a review into the disease commissioned by the Department of Health last year should be just the start.
All those reviews have done really is said we don't know very much about Lyme disease. We don't understand how properly to test for it. We don't understand the symptoms, and we don't really understand how to treat. That's a step in the right direction, at least admitting that the illness exists and they don't know what to do. What needs to be done now is proper research into how to test conclusively for Lyme disease, how to recognise the clinical symptoms, and then how to treat these clinical symptoms to try and make this person better.
Sophie Ward is from the Lyme Disease UK Support Group and has the illness herself. Good morning, Sophie.
Hello.
Hi. It's funny, interesting hearing John Caudwell talk about the symptoms. What are they?
So early stage symptoms are fever, chills, bullseye rash, but only 50% get a rash.
When you say bullseye rash, it's like a red circle,
Yeah, so it's a red point with a circle round it,
Right, okay.
but only 50% get that rash. So it's, migraines, joint pain, and then obviously when it gets to later stage, you turn to sort of debilitating symptoms, just like worse migraines, even seizures, neurological problems, heart problems. You might know Matt Dawson had 2 heart operations not long ago due to Lyme disease, and it just attacks all the organs.
And how did you get it?
I was actually bitten in Beijing, China in 2008. I went to go and watch my friends in the Olympics over there and did some sightseeing afterwards. Went to the panda sanctuary and was hugging the panda and everything, and I came back with a fever. Just thought it was a fever. Only got 2 days worth of antibiotics, and then I felt fine. Came home 4 years later, started with migraines, water infections, joint pains, food intolerances, and it just snowballed from there.
Now, we were hearing from John Caudwell that a number of members of his family have contracted it. It's not contagious in itself, isn't it? But question marks as to why that should happen.
Well, it's been reported that sometimes it could be transmitted, as the bacteria can eat its way through the placenta, but there's no sort of real research behind that.
So that's when someone's being carried, obviously, but during pregnancy.
Yes.
But not, a young child and an adult, can it be transmitted that way?
Not as reported as yet. But of course that's where the research needs to be done, because it is such a complex disease and we don't want more and more people being affected by it.
And what about treatment?
Treatment is very expensive, and again there's no one effective treatment. If caught early and you've got antibiotic treatment for a long period of time, then you might be able to make a full recovery. But if it goes beyond that, then because of all the different co-infections ticks do carry, everyone presents different symptoms.
You said caught early. John Caudwell, who was talking to us earlier, said he was a wealthy man, he was able to do that testing privately.
Yes.
I mean, if you'd be bitten and you're worried, what to do?
Go straight to the GP and demand antibiotics, definitely. A lot of the time, like I say, the symptoms can mimic other illnesses. So if you've got a child and they're presenting like a fever, you as a parent might think, oh, it's just a fever, it'll pass. Where you need to just go and think back, were you rolling in grass? Could you have been bitten? And really demand antibiotics.
That could be anyone. In terms of you go out and play in the park or take a walk in the woods, that could be anyone. I just wonder how easy it is to go to a GP and say, I think I've got Lyme disease, give me the antibiotics. You can't self-diagnose.
Exactly, it is very difficult, and like you say, you don't want to jump to conclusions, and we're not here to frighten people, but people need to know the signs, the symptoms, and be aware of the risks, because like you say, it is a big problem, and once it gets past that stage, treatment can be very expensive.
Sophie, thank you very much. Sophie Ward is from Lyme Disease UK. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.